You've heard the term the cloud, right? It's everywhere. But what does it actually mean? Well, it's not just some tech buzzword, it's the very foundation of our digital lives. And in the next few minutes, we're going to demystify the whole thing with one simple, really powerful idea.
So, I want you to imagine something with me. Forget about abstract tech for a second. Picture the cloud as a massive, bustling, ever-expanding digital city. This is the city where businesses build their headquarters, where our photos live, and where groundbreaking new ideas are born. And each major company we'll talk about, they're like a different district, each with its own vibe, its own architecture.
And let me tell you, this city is huge. We're talking over 90% of organizations now operate somewhere within its city limits. That makes it the backbone of the entire modern economy. So really, the question isn't if you're a citizen of the city, it's how you choose to live in it.
So, how do you get around in a city this big? What are the basic rules of the road, and how do you find your spot within it all? Well, let's dive in and find out.
To really get how this city works, the best way to think about it is like finding a place to live. You basically got three main options for renting space, and each one is a trade-off between how much control you want versus how much convenience you need.
These three models are super easy to understand with this analogy. First, you can rent just a plot of land and build your house from scratch. That's IaaS. Or you can move into a furnished apartment that's all set up for you. That's PaaS. And for the ultimate no-fuss convenience, you can just book a hotel room where everything is taken care of, and that's SaaS.
All right, let's start with IaaS, which stands for Infrastructure as a Service. This is our plot of land. The cloud provider gives you the absolute basics, the servers, the storage, the networking, but it's totally up to you to build everything on top of it. This gives you the most control possible, but it also means you have the most responsibility.
Okay, so what if you don't want to build from the ground up? That brings us to PaaS, or Platform as a Service. This is like renting that furnished apartment. The provider handles all the underlying infrastructure, the digital plumbing and electricity. You just bring your code and your apps. It's the perfect sweet spot for developers who want to focus on creating, not managing servers.
And finally, we have SaaS, or Software as a Service. And honestly, this is the one most of us are using every single day, probably without even thinking about it. This is the hotel room. You don't build or manage a thing, you just subscribe and use it. We're talking about things like Gmail, Slack, or Zoom. It is all about maximum convenience.
So who are the master architects behind this massive digital city? It turns out there are a handful of tech giants who are basically the city planners. They're the ones shaping the skyline, building the districts, and really dominating the entire landscape. And when you look at who runs this town, it's pretty clear there are three main power brokers. Amazon Web Services, or AWS, is the undisputed leader, holding down 30% of the entire market. Microsoft's Azure is a strong second at 20%, and Google Cloud rounds out the big three with 13%. Together, they are the giants of this digital world.
And each of these giants has its own personality, defining the character of its district. Think of AWS as the huge established commercial center. It's known for its incredible scale and reliability. Azure is more like the corporate park, perfectly integrated for big companies that already use Microsoft tools. And Google Cloud, that's the city's innovation hub, the place you go for cutting-edge data analytics and AI.
Okay, so all this infrastructure and market share is impressive, but what does it actually do for people? To see why this digital city matters so much, let's zoom in on one of its most critical areas, its hospitals, and see how the cloud is literally changing lives.
The scale of this transformation is just staggering. The healthcare cloud market is valued at over $70 billion. And that massive investment isn't just about flashy new tech. It's fueling a complete revolution in how we deliver patient care.
And here's exactly why that's so critical. A really sobering study found that nearly 800,000 patients suffer serious harm from misdiagnoses every single year. This is a huge, heartbreaking problem, and the cloud is now providing incredibly powerful tools to improve accuracy and ultimately save lives.
Here are three absolutely game-changing breakthroughs. First, AI diagnostics running in the cloud are helping pathologists spot diseases like cancer with way more precision. Second, companies like Pfizer use the cloud's massive power to analyze clinical trial data for the COVID-19 vaccine at a speed that would have been unthinkable before. And third, cloud platforms have made telemedicine a reality, letting you see a doctor right from your living room. It's making healthcare smarter, faster, and just so much more accessible.
So where's our digital city headed next? Well, the future is all about becoming even smarter and more efficient.
And it's being driven by a concept that, I know, sounds like a total contradiction. Serverless computing.
This picture really says it all, doesn't it? On the right, you have the old way of doing things, complex systems where you had to constantly manage servers. But on the left, you see the serverless approach. It's a much cleaner, streamlined world where developers can just focus on writing little pieces of code without ever having to worry about the servers underneath.
So put simply, serverless means developers just get to, well, develop. They just write their code and the cloud provider automatically takes care of all the complicated stuff, scaling, maintenance, all of it behind the scenes. It's really the ultimate evolution of convenience in our digital city.
But there's always a catch, right? When getting more computing power is as easy as turning on a tap, it's also really, really easy to forget to turn that tap off and end up with a massive bill. And this brings us to the next big challenge for the citizens of our digital city, managing the cost.
The answer is a whole new discipline called FinOps, which stands for Financial Operations. You can think of it as intelligent financial planning for the digital city. It's all about using smart, AI-powered tools to predict your costs, get rid of waste, like servers you forgot you were running, and make sure every dollar you spend is a good investment. This approach can slash those shocking, unexpected bills by as much as 20%.
Which leaves us with this one big final question. Our digital city offers us a nearly infinite space to create and innovate. But as it expands toward that infinity, the real challenge is shifting from what we can build to how we can build it all sustainably. Thanks for taking this tour of the cloud with me.